Soul Garden. Hello, welcome to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host of the universe, Christopher Witecki. And Scorpio, your free horoscope is sponsored by soulmart.me, where you can now download our Act 2 videos, where I cover April, May, and June in depth of what the big arcs are for Scorpio. And now we have a new feature where you can buy and download instantly, so tell me what you think. And come on down to the garden. We have a whole bunch of Scorpions chatting it up. In fact, Mara is writing about Scorpios and letting it flow through the garden, how to get through this whole process, especially in daily lifestyle. So our articles are getting pretty darn popular. Good job, Mara. And come on down, folks. If you don't have a at least registered profile, come on down and register yourself so we can email you if shift hits the fan. Now, the sun is in Aries, and for Scorpios, what that means is changing your moment, changing your lifestyle. We're talking about how you live in the moment. Are you dull? Are you detached? Are you happy? Are you amped? Are you joyful? And that's your body. How do you like your relationship to your body? That's your day in and day out routines. That turns out to be your work style. That turns out to be your lifestyle. That's what we're working on. And we start on Monday. Uranus is ruling the day, so there might be a work lifestyle breakdown somewhere in that order, or maybe something with your body. Be careful not to have an injury. The moon will be in Leo, so emotions are focused on career and legacy. So it might literally happen at work, and emotions will be perhaps a little hypersensitive about control in the moment too, because control and decisions are part of it as well with the moon in Leo for you. Now on Tuesday, it's breakthrough. So whatever broke down, you kind of see why it's breakthrough on Tuesday. Mercury rules the day. Mercury's still retrograde on Tuesday, so this is the last Mercury retrograde, Mercury ruled day. So it's the real day, the last day to think inside out about life. Now with Mercury retrograde, Scorpios are reconsidering what their heart really wants. So you're looking one more time to get to the very truth of what that is in this little break with Mercury retrograde. Meanwhile, the sun, or your capital awareness, is focused on lifestyle. So it's what the heart wants. Does the lifestyle support it? On Tuesday, you will have an understanding of what went wrong, probably within the last 24 hours, and therefore where to point your lifestyle, where to point your daily happiness. So I think it's a good clear day, even though it's cloudy and introverted. The moon moves into Virgo, so emotions shift out of career and to society. What does society think? What do my friends think? That sort of thing. Maybe just circle of friends, or just maybe thinking about legacy and where you're heading in that direction. Now, don't forget, on Tuesdays, we do have office hours where our Soulmart practitioners come on camera, on webcam, and answer questions to our viewers. That's at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays at soulgarden.me. On Wednesday, Venus rules the day. That returns sanity to the planet. It's going to return balance and order. And Mercury goes direct. So we get our faculties back. At the same time, we start to harmonize. So if your lifestyle was out of in disarray, it probably gets back into order on Wednesday. That's good. The moon is still in Virgo, so you're emotionally still social and focused on social. And these red lines represent a fear that you'll be breaking through in the next 3 days from Wednesday forward. On the one hand, between your inner child and I should point out, and can you really do this? Venus is moving into Gemini. That's what I forgot to say. So Venus is our receiving energy. So Scorpios are ready to receive intimately. And I'll tell you, when Venus is in the house of receiving, or the state of awareness of receiving, this is a very sexual time. This is a time where you inherit. This is a time where you receive on lots of levels. But you're afraid. Your inner child is afraid somewhere, says this line, and you're afraid of the reputation. You're afraid of the friend support. You're afraid you might lose friends. So it's boundary change as it happens have to happen to receive. And this is a big theme that I talk about, by the way, in the Act 2 videos. Now, moving on to Thursday. It's a Neptune ruled day on Thursday, so we're logging into our higher self, and we're more psychic than usual. So our psychic state of awareness is a ruling state of awareness. Since Neptune is focused on your inner child, and Neptune is ruling the day, you might resolve the fears between inner child and receiving, whatever that's about. Of course, the topic of the month is how to make your lifestyle better, how to live in the moment better. So it's good to log into your higher self and receive on that level. The moon does shift into Libra, which is the countdown now to a full moon and maybe some storms in the inner Scorpio. That's because we have a full moon hitting you in the house of weeds, or the sector of subconscious and psychic. We'll talk about that in just a second. But before we get there, I just want to point out that with the moon shifting into Libra and you being Neptune based, this is a good day to really get to the bottom of what's maybe haunting you subconsciously. That's what Neptune's about. And with the moon moving into Libra and the full moon I'm going to tell you about in a second, you're going to want to know what to release tomorrow. But today, Thursday's the day you got to log in. By the way, those of you who are watched over by the Guardian Agency, I've got a new cool text coming out called Past Life with Texts, where I go to your natal chart and I'm going to look up some past life themes that I find looking at the planets using a formula astrologers do and presenting you with some interesting facts. Whether you believe it or not, past lives that is. But check out your personal text, tell me what you think. Then on Friday, it's not just any Friday, it's a full moon Friday, full moon in Libra. Now, that's what I was just saying. This is a full moon hitting you in the house of subconscious. So you might be really there might be anxiety, you might act out, you might want to act out. And that's what I was saying. I hope you meditated yesterday and kind of got an idea of what's rattling in the subconscious, because now it's lit up like a Christmas tree with a full moon in Libra. And what is lit up? Well, two things. It is the hard reality of reality and your emotions freaking out about whether or not you can have faith, whether or not you can pull it off, whether or not the history won't repeat itself and sabotage everything. Somewhere along those lines, that's what the full moon is lighting up. So it's really about release of full moon. First of all, if you are worried about what's happened in the past, you got to shed that off, get rid of it, say it doesn't affect you anymore. It's baggage you are carrying. So if you're emotional about the past on this day, you are carrying that baggage, and it makes you gain weight and retain water. How's that? I'll make you get rid of it. And at the same time, it's about, well, readjusting what your lifestyle needs to be. If you want to feel secure on the inside psychic state of awareness, what has to be in place in your life to make you feel secure? That's the other part of it. Now, don't forget, on Fridays, Carolyn Nagel and myself are live for SG Live, our webcam radio show, where I get kind of funny. We have our Zodiac Director, Aries, Bernadette Morgan, as our guest, because she's talking about courage and strength and all the great Aries things do, including slamming doors when they get into fights. That was a funny one. But come on down. If you can't make it live at 11 a.m. Pacific, well, we do record the show, and that's fun too. Over the weekend, you can watch it. Now, over this weekend, it's kind of typical. The energy mellows out, and it's very much a holiday vibration. Seriously. Saturday is the most aggressive day. So Saturday, Mars rules the day. It's time to take action. So really, if you had some plans about how you want to change your life, including maybe your diet or change your relationship to your body, Saturday's the day really to get started. You might want to start a new diet or start a new exercise regime. Be careful not about going too far or injury. Those of you who don't do any exercise are prone to injury on a day like this. The moon is moving into your sign, so it's sunny and cool. The full moon is over. Whatever rattled you is behind you for now, and you will be sunny and cool on Saturday and Sunday, basically, so that's nice. And this new opposition shows up, which will be themed next week. I'll talk about it more next week, but it starts this weekend. And that is really what the full moon was about, but following through. On the one hand, you have the life you want to live and how you want to go forward. On the other hand, you have the fears you have to face and get rid of to do it. So in the next 10 days, you're releasing fears. It's like getting water out of the sinking boat, getting rid of, and finding balance between grounded reality and really building an inner faith, including a spiritual faith if you haven't built one. All right, Scorpio, that's all I have for this 7-day forecast, but I'll see you in 7 more. Until then, live, love, be.